biodiesel? The first step in making biodiesel is collection. This is when you take animal fats and oils to make biodiesel.
The second stage of making biodiesel is called heating. Heating is the process of taking your collected oils, putting them into a cooking vat, and heating it to 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
The next stage in making biodiesel is mixing. This is when you take your newly heated fats and oils and you mix it with methanol and lime.
The fourth stage of biodiesel is separation. This is the process of letting your completed biodiesel separate for an amount of time.
The second to last stage in making biodiesel is refining. This is when you heat it again. This time it's more like a proofing, just to make sure it's right.
The final stage of creating biodiesel is transportation. This is the process of putting your completed biodiesel onto a truck and transport it to either a gas station or a storage facility.
And the main producers of biodiesel are in Europe.
Biodiesel fuel is a very environmentally friendly fuel.
Biodiesel fuel reduces air pollution, CO2, and particle matter.
Biodiesel supplements the use of petroleum-based fuel as a primary energy source. So basically it's saving up petroleum, which is a non-renewable source.
The estimated amount per gallon by rounding of biodiesel is $4.20.
With biodiesel, you don't have to have any dependence for foreign oils. You don't need to think about them or worry about them at all.
If you run the same miles from last year, this year, it'll cost $1,163,400 per year.
And that is way over the budget. Biodiesel only runs 89% of what diesel would run on, meaning you'd have to fill up your gas tank sooner and more often.
That if you keep biodiesel in the gas tank for way too long, it can turn into a gel, which then ruins some parts of the car or bus or whatever, and then you have to pay for it to fix it.
If you use biodiesel in the wrong way, you leave it sit or put it in the cold for too long, it will have some major impacts on your engine.
The government requires that Indiana state institutions must fuel diesel vehicles with biodiesel blends containing at least 2% of biodiesel.
The government also says that when you get your biodiesel, you should use it within 6 months so it doesn't do any of these hazardous things that we told you about.
The advantages and disadvantages of biodiesel is, for one, it is very easy and not expensive to make, but it is hard to find.
An advantage for biodiesel is that it's non-toxic, but yet a disadvantage for biodiesel is not suited for cold weathers.
Biodiesel fuel can be used in diesel engines without any modifications, but if you use it or make it in the wrong way, it can cause engine clogging.
Biodiesel fuel is very environmentally friendly, but it only runs on 89% of what diesel runs on.
Biodiesel is 100% renewable, but if you leave it around for too long, it will turn into a gel and clog your pipes.
Biodiesel is safe to handle, but the only problem is that if you use it a lot, it can clog your fuel tank.
This has been our PowerPoint on biodiesel. We hope that you choose biodiesel for your fuel on the buses.
Okay, thank you. No, stay, because I think the audience might have a few questions for you. Audience members, I know I have a couple questions, but I was going to let you guys start. Levi, did you have a question for this panel?
At the beginning, what do you mean by separation as a step?
It's a step because if you don't separate it, it would be made improperly because the oils and the methanol and the lye, if they don't get separated, it could be flammable completely. Owen?
I have a question for the environmentalists. How exactly does it reduce pollution in CO2?
It
Well, you need some sort of response to that. If you don't know, then you have to say you don't know.
We don't really know for explaining that.
it doesn't put as many bad things into the air.
Can you say that again, because I don't think the camera heard you?
It doesn't put as much pollution into the air when you use it.
Okay. All right.
Patrick?
Does it contribute to land or water pollution?
No, I don't think so.
You didn't find any information on that?
It just air pollution.
Okay. So air pollution sounds like the only impact. Gabby?
Do you recommend biodiesel yourself?
No comment?
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Wolf?
I myself wouldn't because it's really hard to find, and if you make it yourself and you don't do it correctly, it can become flammable, which is bad if you don't know.
Well, but it can be easily made and it reduces all this pollution and stuff, so it isn't necessarily bad, but then again it can clog engine parts and it needs special handling in cold weather and all that. So.
My response to that is, unless if you're like an environment person that all cares about the environment, you definitely want biodiesel. If you're one of those people that just really care about how much money you pay, then you wouldn't really recommend biodiesel.
All right, very good. I know that we have a lot of other questions, but we're going to have to cut off our time today. Thank you very much, Biodiesel, for your presentation today. We appreciate it.